What's up, guys? I bet you thought you'd never see me again. Well, for a second, I thought I wouldn't see me again either. It has been a long time. The last video that I did was January 13th, my birthday, and it is what month is it? Uh, it's May 25th. 5 months. That is a long time. I never intended to not make a video for 5 months, but I didn't make a video for 5 months. Anyway, I'm back. There are a lot of movies and even albums that I want to talk about, or I will go back and talk about. But for now, I'll stick to the most recent movie that I've seen, and that is Doctor Strange in the multiverse, whatever, of madness. Saw it. Here's what I think. Overall, after I left the theater, the main thing that I thought about this movie or about the Marvel Cinematic Universe is that I kind of want them to take a step back. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed the movie, but I want them to go back to a more simple time. And by that, I mean the plots and the storylines and the amount of characters. It was when the Avengers came out, that was something to marvel at, no pun intended. That was something really amazing to be able to bring all of these characters together. And I do like the team up movies. I do like all of these characters being introduced. I do like how they play off of one another. But I want to get back to a point where we can focus on one character, because what seems to be happening now is that every solo film, sequel, whatever, is no longer about one character. It's about that character, another character, a third character. And when you do that, when you stretch your movie out to have 3 and 4 protagonists, you take away from the main focus. And overall, that's what I think happened with this movie. I think that the spotlight was taken away from Dr. Strange. And don't get me wrong, Wanda was really amazing in this movie. America, she was okay. I didn't really get a lot from her, and to be honest, I don't really know that character from the comics because, again, I didn't read the comics. I didn't grow up during that time. So my introduction to these characters are through the Marvel Cinematic Universe, most of them anyway. And I do like the direction that they went with Wanda. Forgive me, my thoughts are going to be all over the place. This will not be a linear review. I don't even know if I'll call this a review. It's just me talking about the movie because it's been a minute now since it's been out. It's spoiler alert if you haven't seen it. But I mean, come on, it's been a few weeks now. You've had time to see it. But anyway, I do like the direction that they took with Wanda, and I do like the visual direction from Sam Raimi. I was really looking forward to how this movie would look cinematically because I really like the way that Sam Raimi shot the Spider-Man movies. And what I'm sad to say is that I can tell that they let him do his thing, but I can also see the elements where the executives came in and was like, okay, no, we actually want to do this way. And one of my biggest grievances with this movie and all of the Marvel movies as of lately is the CGI. I don't understand. I mean, I do understand it's cheaper, but it really bugs me when a scene that can have clearly been shot in a real environment with, a real background is put in front of a green screen. Because in my opinion, no matter how good the green screen is, no matter how good the CGI is, no matter how good, the people working behind the scenes are, there's always going to be, or at least as of right now, I don't know what it'll be like with technology, it'll be like 10 years from now, but currently there's always that uncanny vibe that you get when someone is in front of a green screen. It's very rare that they're able to blend real people with fake environments. And I think the only times where they do turn out well is when only part of that environment is fake. But when it's in completely green screen environment with real people, you notice it. And there's a scene early on in this movie where they first start going to different universes, and it's very clear that they're on a rooftop, but it's not real. Like everything about it in the background just looks fake. Now, it doesn't make the scene look bad. It doesn't look like, I don't even know how to put it in words. The CGI, the green screen isn't bad. It's just that you can tell that it's not real. And to me, that takes away from the movies. And it made me think about earlier superhero movies, the first, trilogy of Spider-Man movies, shoot, the Amazing Spider-Man movies, the X-Men movies. Like a lot of that stuff looked a lot better from, a longer time ago. I feel like I could have said that better. A lot of those older movies look a lot better, and it doesn't make sense to me because the technology was not what it is today. But the problem is that there's an over reliance on CGI right now, and it's, to me, it's lazy filmmaking. I'm not saying that this movie was lazy, but there clearly are areas where they cut corners, and it tells, and it takes you out of the movie, and that's something that I don't like. It's already a superhero movie, so there's already a level of suspended disbelief that you have to have going into these movies. And so for me to already have to go into it knowing that I have to suspend my disbelief that a man can do magic and that a girl can, transport people to different universes, I already have to suspend my disbelief for that. It's a superhero movie. But for me to have to suspend my disbelief in a situation where somebody is just standing somewhere and talking, I don't like that. That bothers me. Another thing that bothered me with this movie is the inclusion of the Illuminati. So Richard Reed, Professor X, I forgot, another version of Captain Marvel. Like all of those guys, it was cool, but it seemed unnecessary. I like the scene because what Sam Raimi brought to it, the horror aspect of it, even though it was PG horror, it was still really cool to see that stuff. But after it's all said and done, after the ashes have settled, it's like, what was that scene really about? And I watched another video and somebody said that it seemed like that scene was probably not originally in a script, and that was another example of the Marvel execs saying, hey, we want to put this in a movie. Because if you think about it, it really doesn't fit. They come and they go so quickly. And to me, that time could have been better delegated to expanding this story, because I do feel like this story didn't have a chance to truly grow and develop and have layers to it. It seemed like the whole resolution with Wanda and, finding her kids in this different universe, and like that whole resolution seemed very abrupt to me. It seemed very television. It seemed like it was fresh out of WandaVision. Like that's how I expect a TV show to wrap up its ending. Is, it was so quick, and it felt, I don't want to say forced, but it didn't feel like a true and honest conclusion. It felt like, okay, we got to find a way to resolve this problem. I didn't like that. I really didn't intend for this to be a negative review, but I've had time to sit with this movie, and I'm glad that I did, because leaving out, I really was like, oh man, this was crazy, and I really liked it. But part of me knew that, deep down, there were problems with this movie. And another problem is how much I've already been talking about this movie. I haven't even mentioned Dr. Strange himself yet, because he is lackluster in this movie. And I don't know, I didn't walk out of it. I mean, after having time to sit with this movie, it just feels like an okay movie. I definitely want to see it again, and I can, see it getting better with time after watching it and seeing details that maybe I didn't notice at first. But as of right now, having only seen it the one time, I don't have a very strongly positive review for this movie. It's not mediocre, but it's definitely not up to par with some of the higher caliber Marvel movies. And I can't stress enough that I really want them to get back to a more practical sense when it comes to filming. Those earlier Iron Man movies where they actually put him in, a suit, even though most of the time it was just the upper body and a helmet and everything else was CG, it helps. When you put somebody in one of those tracker suits and CG a suit onto them, which they did with Reed Richards and all of those characters in the Illuminati, and you can tell. I don't understand the purpose of putting a CG costume on a person. Just make the costume. That's the same issue that Spider-Man is having right now. Only time that he's actually in a practical costume, it seems, is when he doesn't have the mask on. And even then, when he's in that Iron Spidey suit, it's CG. Just make suits for the characters. Just make suits. It's that simple. Because these are the little things that over time start to bother me. It didn't at first, or I was able to turn a blind eye, but as the Marvel Cinematic Universe grows, I don't know why I keep saying the entire name, as the MCU grows and they keep adding more heroes and they keep expanding the stories and the universes, it's the little things that keep it grounded right now. The little things, having practical costumes, having very concise and to the point stories, having a strong focus on your protagonist, those are the things that matter. And I feel like they're getting way too carried away with this multiverse of madness and getting, overwhelmed with all of these different characters. And it just needs to come back to a place of simplicity. That's what I'm looking for at this point. So I did enjoy the movie. I know it sounds like I didn't, but these are just small nitpicks that I didn't want to get on here and just say, oh man, this movie was so great because it's Marvel. Because the truth is not. It was an okay movie. I felt more highly of it when I left the theater, but after a few days and watching, different videos and having time to really think and sit with it, I'm disappointed. And I didn't want to say that, but I am disappointed with this movie. I think that there were some really nice scenes, but again, a lot of the action scenes that I did like, I was taken aback because the CGI, it takes me out of the movie. But what are some positives that I had about this movie? Like I say, I really like the direction that Sam Raimi took with the horror aspect of it. There are a couple scenes with Wanda, especially when she's killing the Illuminati, even though ultimately that scene ended up feeling like it didn't belong, it was still fun to watch. And honestly, that's probably all that I can say positive wise about this movie. And it's weird because again, I don't dislike the movie, but it's just it wasn't what I expected it to be. It wasn't a bad movie. It just wasn't a focused movie. It wasn't a Dr. Strange focused movie. And maybe that's the biggest problem that I had with it. But anyway, let me know what you guys think. Did you like the movie? Am I like getting too frustrated with the small things? Be honest. Is it just me, or just was this movie not as good as you wanted it to be? Let me know. Hit the comments up. Did you miss me? It's been a while. Let me know. Because I'm back. Will I take another hiatus? Who knows? Work is a little crazy these days. I'm getting married. Did you guys know I'm getting married? I've been, doing wedding planning stuff. Not a whole lot of wedding planning. My fiance's been doing most of it. But still, I went with her to do something yesterday to check out the venue. So there's that. Anyway, if you like this video, hit the like button, comment, share, subscribe. This channel is gonna blow up, but y'all knew that already. You probably have been waiting for me to say it for 5 months, so there you go, play it back, get it back in your system, because I'm here. See you next time.